66th Street.
Is that where you were living when you were arrested?
Yeah.
What is the rent at that address?
$2,400 a month.
And when you moved into that apartment, what was your income?
Peter gave me $10,000 when I signed the separation agreement.
Did you ask your parents for any money?
No.
Your Honor, could Mr. McMillan tell us why he is so fascinated with Mrs. Draper's finances? Is he planning to sell her a car?
Where are you heading, Mr. McMillan?
My next group of questions will show, Your Honor, if you'll indulge me.
Proceed.
So you lived off of the $10,000 that you got from your husband.
No, I spent that on furniture and kitchen stuff.
Well, what did you live on?
Gifts.
Gifts. Gifts from whom?
Friends.
Men friends?
Uh-huh.
And what did these men friends give you? Jewelry?
Sometimes.
Furs?
I got a fox boa once.
Did they give you food?
Food?
Mm-hmm.
One guy used to bring caviar. Is that what you mean?
Did you exchange your jewels and furs for food at the supermarket?
Now, isn't that silly?
Well, did you?
No.
Well, then how did you pay for your food? I assume you didn't live on caviar.
Hardly.
Or did you use those gifts to pay your rent?
Excuse me? Is it legal to take cash gifts?
I beg your pardon?
I mean, if I say to you, Stanley, here's $500 just because I like you, is that legal?
Yes, that's legal.
Thank you. A lot of the gifts were cash.
And these cash gifts from these men friends were enough to pay your expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And what did these men expect in exchange for these cash gifts?
Is counsel for the people leading up to
Your Honor, I have not used the word fee.
I'll permit an answer.
What did these men friends expect in return for these cash gifts?
Friendship?
Friendship. What kind of friendship?
Objection. Question is vague and misleading.
Overruled.
These men that gave you cash gifts, did they expect you to talk to them?
Sure.
Did you listen to them?
God, yes.
And you did them favors.
Your Honor.
You did them favors.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of favors?
Objection on the same grounds.
I mean, what kind of favors did you do in exchange for those gifts?
What difference does it make how Mrs. Draper chooses to make a
What
living?
kind of favors?
Why don't we stop all the bullshit and get to the point? Now, you want to know what I do for a living? Ask me. My time is very expensive, Mr. McMillan, probably more than yours. I get $500 an hour. How much do you get? I get $400 for straight lay, $300 for a hand job, and $500 for head. If you want to wear my panties, that's another $100. You take them home, Mr. McMillan. That's another $100. No whips, no ropes, no spikes. I've got liquor and grass. Anything else, you bring your own. It works like this. You call me up. I make a date. I look you over. And if I like you, we make a deal. And darling, I am worth the trouble. Take my word for it. If you want the best. Do you want the best, Miss Whitman? I am talking about taking your body to heaven and sending your mind south. I'm talking about spoiling you so bad, you'll hate every other woman you touch. I'm talking about my mouth and your mouth and my tongue. Anywhere you want it. I'm talking about indulging your every fantasy and then giving you those fantasies one by one. Just for you. All for you. Nobody but you. You get all that, darling? Would you like that, baby? You get what I'm telling you? Do you all get what I'm telling you? Now, could he bust me for that?
Can he? No, he can't bust you.
Good.
Well, that's very enlightening, Mrs. Draper.
Thought you'd like it.
Tell me, how long did you perform these favors?
35 months, 24 days.
Can you tell us why you performed these favors for men?
For $100,000 a year net.
Did you ever ask your parents for money?
No,
Why, do you believe they would have refused to give it to you?
God, they would have given it to me.
But you preferred living a life of exchanging favors for gifts.
It hurts less to sell yourself to strangers.
Well, tell me, if you were in the same position today, would you make the same choice?
Your Honor, she's not in the same position today.
I'd like an answer.
I might.
You would rather go back to a life like that than ask your parents for money?
Probably, yeah.
Mrs. Draper, would you describe your behavior in the courtroom the past days as normal?
Would you consider these circumstances
It
as
is
normal?
my job to ask the questions, your obligation to answer them.
Go ahead.
Well, yesterday this hearing had to be adjourned because you were no longer able to participate.
Well, the truth is, I didn't have a nifty childhood. Poor me. Life sucks.